All right. Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me today. My name is Jenna Wood, and I am one of the dietitians here with the Giant Company. If you are new to our classes, welcome. If you are a regular, welcome back. Today's class, so Mondays, we like to do meal inspiration. And for the month of June, well, I don't know. This June's been a little strange with the weather. It's either 90 degrees or it's 60. But typically in June, a lot of people enjoy dining outside. I know I personally do. My family's very mixed into who likes to eat outside or not. But with the idea of al fresco dining, you can make these recipes and enjoy them outside or at the comfort of your own table. So we are going to get into our recipe for today. Now, if you know anything about me, I live in the mushroom capital of the world, so I love everything mushrooms, talking about mushrooms, making mushroom recipes, but I know it's not everybody's favorite thing. So I actually did a poll, channeling my inner Shayna here, but I want to launch our poll. Have you ever cooked with portobello mushrooms before? Yes, no, but you want to give them a try, or no, you're not likely to, and that's okay. I know mushrooms are they're a unique food to get used to, texture, taste wise, but I want to get an idea of where we're at today before we dive into our recipe. I'll give it like another second. We do have yes leading, which is making me very happy. All right, I will end the poll. So I'm going to share the results. So, have you ever cooked with portobello mushrooms? We have about 63% saying yes. Fantastic. That's a great number. About 23% say no, but they'd like to. So I hope this recipe is so easy. So hopefully this is something you could try. And then we have 14% saying no, they're not likely. And you know what? That's okay too. It's good to know where you stand. So let us dive in. Maybe you never know. Maybe you'll be inspired. So let us get into the portobello tacos for our al fresco dining. There goes my skillet. All right, so super simple recipe today. Basically, we're gonna saute everything and then put it on our flour tortillas. Like, could not be simpler. But I do have a little bit of olive oil in my skillet right now, just heating up. It calls for diced onion, which I'm going to talk you through. I did not dice it. To me, that didn't make any sense. I'm going to use slices that are, similar in size and shape to the portobello mushrooms. I think just diced might fall out of the taco a little easy. Then we're going to flavor the portobello mushrooms with some chili powder, garlic. You could do other seasonings. Honestly, I love portobello mushroom flavor on its own, but there's a lot of ways you can flavor them. And then we are going to let that cook until they soften, salt, pepper, and then we're going to warm up our tortillas and then fill them. And I'll talk you through everything we're going to fill them with. Now, I'm going to stop sharing so that we can get started on our recipe. And then I have a couple slides because the mushrooms take a little bit of time to cook. But let me add my spotlight. Okay, perfect. So into our skillet, we are going to add all of our ingredients. First, I do have, it calls for a half a cup of onions. Onions don't come in cups, they come in onions. So I picked a small Vidalia, which is my favorite. You could do white, you could do a yellow onion, you could probably do red onion. I don't know how that would be, but you could do any. But I did, so it called for diced, which we do sell already diced up onion, which you could totally do. But I just wanted to do it kind of in strips. I don't know. I just think this is going to be the best shape to go along with the portobello mushrooms. So I'm just going to throw all that right in there. Oh, it is definitely warm enough. I wasn't sure if it was going to be warm enough. I'm going to break them apart a little so they start to cook. Okay. All right, we'll get to that. Then the recipe calls for, so this is to make it for a crowd, 3 of our packages of our already sliced portobello mushrooms, which look like this. They look so perfect. So there's one. Here's 2. So this is what they look like. You can see they are PA preferred because they come right here from Kennett Square. I think it says there somewhere. But I don't know about your stores. I took a picture and I forgot to add it to my slides. But in my produce department at Giant, there are little signs that say from Kennett Square, which makes sense, especially when you're shopping in Kennett Square. But most of our mushrooms, that's where they're coming from. All right. So Get that other package in there. Now, I will say what's really nice about this, so look how beautiful they are. Throw them right in there. We also have, of course, if you want to just get the whole portobello mushrooms, they're the same price. So you're not paying any upcharge for them to slice them for you, which I think is nice. Sometimes you do pay for that convenience, but at my store, they were the same price for the sliced and the whole. So I thought that was really great. But I wanted to buy both to kind of just show kind of what they look like here. Now, I'm not going to rinse them. I'm not going to do anything with mine. I've learned a lot about mushrooms and how safe they are to consume right out of the package. If you want to, you certainly can take a wet paper towel and kind of, brush them off a little bit. But what I'm going to do, you can kind of see my cutting board here, is I'm just going to slice them. So you certainly can buy them pre-sliced or just do what I did. And mushrooms are so you can see I'm just going to pop out the stem there, which is also totally edible, but sometimes can be a little dry. But you can chop them yourself, have them pre-chopped, both good options. Right. Mushrooms also, they kind of deflate. So while it looks like I got a lot in this pan, they are gonna, shrink a little because they're full of water. All right. All the mushrooms right in there. That was pretty quick, whether you chop them or buy them pre-chopped. So I'm gonna move them around a little. Oh, this is gonna be so good. I love recipes like this. Okay. Then to flavor them, I'm just gonna do some minced garlic from our produce department. You could do whole cloves and mince it yourself, but good. I'm just gonna save some time. So a tablespoon, that's a lot. Tablespoon right in there. You could do more. I think a tablespoon will be good. You could also do minced dried garlic, whatever you want to do. So tablespoon, and then we're gonna do 2 teaspoons of chili powder. We'll show this camera. Ooh, there we go. So if you're somebody who watches out for salt, chili powder is one place you're going to want to watch out for salt. So our regular Giant brand, the McCormick one, I believe I looked at, a lot of them have salt as an ingredient. So watch out for that. However, our Nature's Promise organic chili powder, there is no salt. It's cumin, paprika, ancho chili pepper, ground coriander, oregano, garlic, some rice concentrate to keep it free flowing, allspice, and ground cloves. No salt, just a ton of flavor. So this is a great option instead of all the other ones that have salt. So this is the one I tend to go to, and I make a lot of chili. So I go through this very quickly. Okay, so that was all what we needed in here. Oh my gosh, it looks so good. Okay, all of the chili powder is nice and kind of dispersed. It also calls for I'm going to do just a little, I think it's like a teaspoon of salt. Because again, I want to control how much salt's going in there, not the salt that would have been in the chili powder. So just a touch of salt and a little bit of pepper. The salt will also pull out some of that excess moisture from the mushrooms and help them cook. All right, pepper in there too. Now this is supposed to take about 10 minutes in our skillet. I have it on high here. I probably gonna put our lid on just to have it cook faster. Don't want all the heat escaping out of there. But in the meantime, am going to show you what I'm going to put on my tacos, and then we're going to just go through a couple slides about mushrooms. I do have my cilantro. It didn't call for it chopped up. It just said cilantro leaves. So I gave them a quick rinse, and I kind of just pulled some of the bigger pieces of stem off. I love cilantro. You do not have to add cilantro. I think it's going to be perfect with it. You could do parsley. You could leave it out entirely, but I'm going to be putting a lot on mine. Then it calls for either some type of guacamole. I'm going to do that. I actually have never tried this. This is our avocado salsa. So it's like a guacamole, kind of like a salsa. So I'm going to try that because why not? That sounds good for tacos. Then it calls for cheese. It either says, I think, cotija cheese or feta. I'm not the biggest feta fan. I do love a good cotija though. So depending on your store, this was in I'll show this one too. Oh, it is sunny in here. This was in our deli department in that like cheese area. So that's where I found this one. My Giant also has some in the dairy section as well with there's more Hispanic style cheeses in that section, at least at my store. So you can find it in both. It is a little bit like a grated Parmesan cheese too. So you, in theory, could do that too, but just there's a slight tang and difference in this that I really love. So you could do that. Or in the deli section, mine also had this quesadilla cheese, which is a Mexican style melting cheese. I don't know. This one sounded really good too. So sky's kind of the limit with what kind of cheese you want to do. So then I will show you. Let me give this a stir. Ooh, saw all the steam come up. Yeah. Oh my gosh. I mean, I'm actually going to maybe leave the lid off because that's looking kind of perfect. So we just want the onions, really. The mushrooms look fairly cooked already. I mean, this came together a lot faster than I anticipated. But let me show you our sides, and then we're going to microwave our tortillas, and I'll show you what kind I'm going to try. Let me just show you very quickly. It just looks so delicious. Let's see. Okay, so portobello mushrooms. Some people love them. Some people haven't yet explored them, but they are a cousin to the white button, the cremini, which are the little baby bella. But portobello mushrooms can measure up to 6 inches in diameter. So there is a mushroom council, which is awesome. They, I believe, refer to them as portobella. So you'll see portobello, portobella, like you'll see a bunch of different names, all kind of the same thing. They are definitely going to be the largest cultivated, meaning we grow them specifically for food, mushroom out there. They're going to be really hearty and savory and kind of have a meaty taste to them, or umami, which is that like savory kind of taste. And so they're an ideal choice for, meat dishes, but also meatless dishes. So, it can help stretch a meat containing dish or be the meat equivalent in a recipe. So a great option there. Lots of different ways to use portobello mushrooms. I've done portobello pizzas, which are probably one of my favorite ways to use them. You just, bake them topped with some pasta sauce, pizza sauce, whatever you want, and pizza toppings, cheese, pepperoni, whatever you like, peppers. They're so delicious and so fun. Stuffed. So this recipe I linked here is this one here with the whole egg and parsley. Delicious. You can slice them, saute them like we're using today. Pasta dishes like a marsala, fantastic. As a burger or as the bun of a burger, I've seen both types. In stir fries, chopped and minced and added to things like sauces or soups, or finely chopped and again added to stretch things like ground beef. Now, when you're making them stuffed or pizza type, it's often recommended that you pre-bake them for a few minutes with nothing on them, because they're going to release some excess moisture, which otherwise would make for not the best quality like pizza or stuffing because it'll be kind of watery. So the recommendations, pop them in the oven, kind of gill side up, and then let some of that excess moisture come out and then put all the toppings on. You don't have to, I've done it both ways, but it definitely is better to try to get some of that off. All right, let us look here. So yeah, this is like already ready to go. Like what a quick dinner or lunch or whatever you're making this for. This would also be really nice kind of for like a meal prep type thing because this came together so fast. All right, I am going to pop our tortillas in the microwave. So the recommendation, you can either put them in a skillet to warm them up, or honestly, the fastest way is definitely the microwave. And the brand I bought actually recommends that. So what we're going to do is I'm reaching behind my laptop for some paper towels. We're just going to take some paper towels, wet them a little. I think it says you want them a little damp. Okay. Damp. And then you're going to, oh, the steam. Cover that so my phone doesn't get overheated. And I might turn the temp down to low. So wet paper towel. See here, wet paper towel. And I'm just gonna put the wet, damp paper towel around the tortillas, kind of wrap it around. And then the package doesn't tell you how long. I'm gonna do maybe like 15 seconds and kind of check on them. 15 seconds in the microwave. It smells so good in here. Let me show you which tortillas I picked out. The recipe calls for flour. I will say for tacos, corn is definitely more authentic. Whatever kind you like. There's 15 seconds. I'm going to try both. So this is just a really nice brand. This is the white corn tortillas, 100 calories for two, 2 grams of fiber, gluten-free. So that's a great option. I'm also trying, they have a 0 net carbs, which is a whole conversation in and of itself. But these are tiny little flour tortillas. They have a ton of fiber. I think it's 19 grams per 3 tortillas, which is added types of fiber. 7 grams of protein. These do have gluten. Oh, I thought these would just be fun for kind of like a street taco size. I'll probably be able to just fit the length of the mushrooms in there. So I tried 2 and 2 just to give them a try. I think I'm going to give it like another couple seconds. Maybe like 5 to 10 maybe. Okay. Yeah, that came together very quickly. So I'm going to maybe turn this off. It smells so amazing in here between the chili powder. So good. Okay. Oh, yeah, very nice. So they're nice and warm now. So then what we're gonna do, I'm gonna take just another plate here. I'm gonna move this out of the way. Ooh, the steam. All right. So what we're gonna do is we're just gonna assemble. Oh my goodness, this looks so good. I'm so excited. And I think these would be great, serving it hot, but also as leftovers, all of the fillings being cold, especially if it's hot out, would be perfect too. All right. So I got my plate here. I think I'm going to try one of each right now. So look how tiny there. There's one. That's the flour. And then, oh, yes, definitely if you're using corn tortillas, make sure you heat them up in some way. They become much more pliable. All right. So let us, just going to get some tongs here, pick up the mushrooms. So put some mushrooms on here. Oh yeah, the onions are perfectly cooked. Yes. This looks so good. Okay. There's that. Fold that over. They like just fit on the little tacos. Okay, perfect. Then we're gonna put some cilantro on both. Then it's a very tiny plate for my tiny, tiny tacos. Okay. Then, as I said, I have the avocado salsa here. You want sour cream, you could do that. But I think I have plenty of cheese, so I don't think I necessarily need sour cream too. Okay, there we go. And I think the cheese. I might do some cotija on the one, and then the quesadilla cheese on the other. A little bit there. They're definitely very different cheeses. The one is more shredded, the other's grated. I don't know, something about the quesadilla cheese when I was in the store last night looked really good. All righty. Look at these. You can see. And this doesn't look super pretty, but they're looking real good to me. I don't normally take a bite during class, but I'm going to try. I know it's probably very hot, but let's see. Mm, that salsa is good too. A little spicy. Mm, that is perfect. The mushrooms are perfectly cooked. Even the onions are. They still have a little bit of a bite, which I think is nice, but they're not undercooked by any stretch. That came together so quickly. Well, thank you so much for joining me today for our meal solutions, all al fresco dining with our nice portobello mushroom tacos. Certainly, you could still add meat to these. I think, thinly sliced chicken or beef, pork even would be fantastic, but it's nice to have a, vegetarian option thrown in there as well. I hope you're inspired to try some portobello mushrooms this summer. Have a good one.